This Mega Charizard is cheaper than you think. This past weekend, I went to another local Pokemon card show and I picked up 3 new Charizards for my collection. One of those Charizards I've been watching for a while and seeing the price come down a little bit, so I was biding my time and deciding when I wanted to pick it up. At the card show, I found one for what I think is a very solid deal and pulled the trigger right then and there. Before I get to that Charizard, let's look at the other cards I picked up first. I'm going to start with my smallest deal and work up to the biggest one, which is obviously that Charizard I was talking about. So to start, I like to pick through a lot of the binders that the vendors bring where they have cheaper cards. And this is a great way to get like cheap $1 and $2 EXs and V cards and things like that. So I picked up 14 new cards for $20. Let's take a look at these. So I mentioned this a lot when I'm giving tips on how to get cards for cheaper, but the listed price for these was over $20. You can just throw a couple extra cards in and most people will agree to bundle things together since you're buying so many. This is actually the most expensive card I grabbed from this little pack here, which is this Palafin. You know, the values are around here, maybe $2 to $3. But again, it's always so annoying to buy these cheap cards from eBay, or especially in Canada, you can't really buy things from TCG Play or anything like that. It's just too expensive with shipping. So paying $3 for a card like this is pretty reasonable. Actually, weirdly, I shouldn't say weirdly, I like this Palafin quite a bit. It's cool, menacing, it's a dark card. A lot of Palafins are like bright and cheery looking. So this one really stands out as one that I've wanted for a little while. Perfect time to grab it as part of this bundle. Now we hit a bunch of V cards. I wasn't collecting super strongly during Sword and Shield era, so I missed out on a lot of these cards. And I actually would say I like the V cards quite a bit. So I've been picking them up as I find them. And then I really just picked a bunch of them out of the binder to kind of hit that $20 mark that I wanted to spend at this vendor. So I picked up this Rayquaza, which is pretty cool. Cool dragon type. It's not the best Rayquaza, but for $2, it felt pretty reasonable to me. This Machamp, I weirdly like quite a bit. Champ, I think, is a pretty cool card. Obviously, there's the infamous first edition base set Machamp. And from there, I've kind of always appreciated Machamps. This one has like a cool stylized painting effect on him, and I think it's probably one of my favorite cards out of this little packet here. Picked up this Entei because it was side by side with this Suicune. Unfortunately, no Raikou, but these two cards together are pretty cool. Decided to grab them both. 2 more cool V cards to grab. Reshiram, just a classic legendary Pokemon. He was also near those legendary dogs, so I decided to grab him as well. Talked about Reshiram a couple times recently. I have some of his more rare cards, including the original gold Pokemon card. Kyogre, another legendary, so a little legendary haul here. Kyogre's cool. I picked up that Primal Kyogre from Primal Clash. It is one of my favorite cards of recent pickups. So figured I'd get this cheap Kyogre to go with. And there was a bunch of trainer cards, and these were all, I think, listed at $1, and they're around that in value, you know, 50 cents to $1.20. So paying $1 for them felt totally reasonable to me. Nothing super interesting here. A Kofu, Paldean Student here. These are all cards I didn't have, so they're for my collection. This Clive, which I like. Clive's a cheeky guy. Norman. And then this Magnezone V-Star, which, solid card. Like, I like the V and V-Star cards. Just thought this one looked solid. Again, only $1, so threw that in there. Similar story, Drapion. Not as cool as the Magnezone in my opinion, but he fit in with this little package, so I threw him in. And then the final V-Star in this Gyarados sleeve was the Hisuian Decidueye. Again, just kind of a coolish looking card. And the V-Stars are cool. Another cheap card to add to my collection. And I didn't pay shipping. Okay, that's actually all the non-Charizard cards I picked up. There's 3 more cards here, which I did in 2 deals. This one here is a little interesting. I paid $25 for it, which is like market price for this card. Normally I wouldn't do that for something like this. I would rather find a cheap version or not get this at all. My main focus with collecting is to collect sets, so getting promo cards like this is a Sun and Moon era promo card, is really like not in my top priorities at all. But I am starting a new series, which I don't want to spoil yet, where this card is going to be an important part of it. And maybe you can guess what it is just based on this card, but I don't want to give any other hints. Originally, I was going to hold off on doing the Charizard part of this series, but this card is a perfect fit for it, so I decided to grab it then and there. And I just thought, this was a good way to get me to start the series sooner than later. So if you're curious, I will be starting this soon. I realize it's maybe a little annoying that I'm teasing it without giving any information, but I think it's going to be worth it if you subscribe and stick around until I really start releasing those videos. I think it's going to be some of my best videos and series yet. This Charizard is going to kick that off. Okay, I didn't stick around too much at this card show. I was kind of in and out because it was on Super Bowl Sunday, so I was only there for an hour or so looking around, and it was very busy. But I made one big deal for 2 cards. The first card was this Radiant Charizard here, which I'm a fan of. It's a cool card. In a world where we're loaded with like IRs and SIRs and all these like full art style cards, having a card like this, which is more grounded in OG Pokemon, it tickles my nostalgia bone as I'm, primarily collecting vintage right now. Obviously, this is not vintage, but you get my point by it being a regular art card. Now it's a shiny Charizard, so that's sweet. And I have that like short series where I'm collecting all the Charizards, or most of them I should say, because some of them are ridiculously expensive. This is just a cool card. No 2 questions about it. Now it's $12 listed here, which is like the exact market value, and I paid $10 for it. It's near mint, so there's no worries there. The $10 felt totally reasonable. Charizards are like the card you can get the least likely to get deals on, because people buy them. Vendors know that, they don't need to make deals for it, and totally fair. Charizards it's probably the most popular Pokemon to exist in the card world, so fair play to them, but I got a couple bucks off because I bundled it with this other card, and this is the card that I teased at the beginning. A card that at first glance you would think is super expensive, and obviously we're painted by a lot of modern pricing, like the Phantasmal Flames SIR Charizard is like $1,000 Canadian or more, which is pretty crazy. This card here, XY Evolutions Mega Charizard EX. Cool card in my opinion. The Evolution set in XY. Great set, love it. Surprised it's not more expensive than it is. I'm probably biased by my nostalgia because it's like a reprint of the original sets. Obviously this is not an original style card, but this is like almost the pinnacle style for the XY era of cards. Charizard kind of finishing off the XY era. And I think the market price for one of these is like $165. It got up to I think around $200 for a little while at the peak of the market like 2 months ago, and came down like almost $40. So I was watching it because I've wanted to pick up one of these. My Evolutions set is like 90-ish plus % complete. So I've been looking to grab one of these. I believe it's the most expensive card in the set. So getting the most expensive cards out of the way is always good. It makes finishing the set easier typically. I saw this vendor had this in his case listed at $110. And this goes a little marking on the back here at the top, which probably pushes it like closer to MP, maybe like LP best case, but probably an MP card because of that little bit there. So I offered him $100 for both of these, and we agreed on $110. So basically $100 straight up for this Charizard here, which felt fair to me. Checking out the eBay comparables, there are cards that are cheaper. Take a quick look here of recently sold, but they're like really beat up. The comparables for this card are typically like $130, and that's before tax. So it felt like a pretty dang good deal to me. And I just say, like, this card is awesome. Let me pop it out of the top loader here. It's got that classic XY era texture, so you know that this one's real. It shows up in the camera. You can see the shimmer. The Just consistent, straight up and down. There, you can see it, really see the texture in the background here. Just a cool card, you know? And it's 1/10 the price of the modern SAR Charizard. I'm not saying this is better than that card, but this is a pretty dang nice card. Would strongly recommend seeking out this. The other weird thing is like the XY Mega cards have been really like popping off in price recently. I mentioned this in my cards to buy in February video. This one is like one of the exceptions, which is kind of weird because usually Charizard would be a leader in that front. You know, Mega Gengars and stuff are all going crazy. Also super popular, but even like the less popular cards are popping off in XY era. So if you see one of these for a good deal, I would jump on them if I were you. Super happy that I got this. Okay, there you have it. Just a quick little pickup video for my most recent card show. 3 Charizard, which is pretty rare. I usually avoid picking up Charizards because they're expensive, but I'm excited about all 3 of these for all different reasons. And again, tease that Charizard GX card. You're going to want to subscribe for this series I have. Maybe you've seen this huge binder that I've had in the background in some videos. It's just at a screen right now, but it's going to be coming into play soon, and that Charizard's going right in there. So thanks for watching. And if you like this, maybe check out this video over here, and I'll see you around.